Hello, everybody. Welcome. So great to be here with you all. How are you? Happy Friday, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for those coming back. I recognize your icons there. I can see you. I am starting to learn your names. Good day. How are you, my dear ones? So good to see you. Beautiful day in Colorado. Beautiful day here in Pennsylvania as well. And I am very excited to be with you all today. We're going to do a very nice, deep practice calming our nervous system today. So if you want to share in the chat your name, where are you in the world, that's always great. So we get to know each other in this community. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dayana. I am Uruguayan. I'm South America by birth. And I've been in the United States for about 16 years now. I started learning the practices that I shared with you today around 1995. That's when I first started learning FELDENKRAIS, and then after that, breath work, meditation, and some other practices that I integrate into my work. Curated practices to support you. And today we're going to cover briefly a little bit first intellectually, and then we're going to go into the practice, why we want to support our nervous system and why do we want to trigger calm and reset and restore. Yeah. Ina, thank you so much for your comments. Yeah, feel free to share your name in the chat if you want to, and let us know where you are in the world, so we know exactly how widespread our practice is. For those of you that haven't done practices with me before, don't you worry about copying or looking at me so much. You will notice that many times I guide you with my voice, and I ask you to go in and find the movement yourself and find the breath work yourself. And the reason for that is so then you can do it again anytime. So you will see me cueing certain movements or triggering certain breath work cadences. We're going to do today some breath work, especially to begin with, to help us all reset. And the purpose of that my voice is cueing you, is guiding you, so then you can learn how to do that yourself. If you haven't visited my page, go and take a look. There's a lot of these breathing practices there, some movement practices as well. You can follow the page to receive updates and alerts for when I upload either a new track or a new live session. Okay? Hello, everybody. All right, so let's begin. To start the practice today, I'm going to ask you to find a comfortable place where you can feel safe. You can lie down or you can sit down. It doesn't matter today. We're going to work very calmly with our body. So not like the practice we did on Wednesday where I was all energized and having you walk around the space. Today, we're going to calm our nervous system. So find a place where you can lie down or sit down comfortably and feel safe, and remove distractions for just a moment. So you can perhaps turn off your phones or put them on airplane mode. Keep the pets outside for a while and really acknowledge yourself in this moment. There's something that guided you to be here right now. Either because you know my work or because you were curious or somebody recommended. So honor that intuition, that sense of knowing that we all have that brought you here. And by doing creating a little bit of space around us so we don't get disturbed, we are honoring our attention. And we're gonna get the most out of the practice that way. So now begin to sense your body. Whatever comes to your attention first is perfect. So for me right now, maybe that my feet are on the ground. Sense what it is for you. If I ask you to just perhaps close your eyes and bring your attention towards yourself, towards your body, your physicality, what comes first? What is the most interesting thing that you notice? Could be pain or discomfort, or could be a sense of warmth or perhaps the support you're receiving from the chair or the floor, maybe the movement of your breath. So here and there, just begin to notice and then let your attention go somewhere else and find maybe 2 or 3 points that are interesting to you. So if you're having a little pain somewhere, let that be present. And then let that go and look for something else that you're curious about. And we might do this later, so you notice a little difference. So perhaps if for you what you're noticing is that you're a little restless, or there's some thoughts in your mind that may jump at your attention, even though you're noticing your body, right? There's emotions, there are thoughts. So just notice what appears and find one more place in your body to notice. I'm gonna focus myself on the length of my neck because I feel sometimes a little crunchy on my neck. So again, with a lot of support and compassion for yourself, just notice what is present in your body. And then let that go and gently now tune into your breath and the movement of the oxygen coming in and out of your nose. In whichever way it happens, naturally, without changing, without wishing it was any bigger or deeper. Just noticing the movement of your breath and perhaps the warmth of the breath as your air comes in through the nose and out slowly. And now together we're gonna synchronize our breathing. We're gonna breathe together at the same time, and you're gonna follow my voice for this. So we're gonna breathe in fully through the nose, and you can use your hands if you want to guide the movement of the breath. Pushing your belly as you breathe in, and then hold it, and then exhale. So just a gently cadence of the breathe in, a brief hold, and the breath out. Okay? Looking for the expansion of your belly as you breathe in. And then when you breathe out, you're deflating like a big air balloon. You can exhale through the mouth if you want to. Slowly. And now one more time, if you need your hands on your belly, that is good. Remind yourself of the movement of the breath. Fill your lungs completely. Hold it for a moment and then let it out. And you'll see that this breathing pattern is pretty calming, but we're gonna do an even more efficient one together. So the next time you breathe in, take a full breath through the nose, inhale. And when you feel almost full, just catch a little bit more. And then let it out. Slowly. And if it's easier for you to do it through the mouth, it's okay. But if you can do it through the nose, it's even better. Inhale now. This breathing pattern resets your nervous system the fastest. So it's a long inhale, and then at the top of the inhale, just a little bit more. So you fill your lungs completely with like a little bit extra. And then a long exhale, perhaps through the mouth, maybe a hissing sound or a humming sound. And the next time you do this, just imagine the breath filling your whole body in as if it was light or liquid, and you take it in through the nose. And when you breathe out, you can imagine it leaving your body now, just as if it was going down towards your feet and all the way out. And now on your own, one more time this pattern, so you remember it, filling your lungs completely through the nose. Yep, you can do it lying down, you can do it in sitting. Yeah, it's up to you, whatever is more comfortable. Completing the breath at the top with a tiny inhale, second inhale, and then hold it for a little, and then let it all out slowly. So the way to remember this as you pause now and rest is an inhale, a second inhale, a shorter one to fill the lungs all the way to the top, brief hold, and then a slow exhale. And this breath is very powerful to reduce anxiety, to calm you, to center you in the present moment. You can do it anytime you want if you want to practice this again. So we're going to move on to another practice right now. And of course, if you feel like continuing this breath, you can do it. Yeah? At some point, you don't need to choose one over the other. You may be combining practices and noticing that they're more powerful that way. So say you need to do this in a moment of high stress or to fall asleep. You might find yourself breathing and doing the movement we're going to do next at the same time, and that is fine. If this is your first time, maybe you just want to do the movement first. So you do one practice at a time to learn it, to get familiar with it. So for this practice, we're going to use our hands. We haven't done this before together yet. The reason I use our hands is because they are very, very well represented in the brain. So if you think that when you are born, at the very beginning of your life, babies don't barely move. They lie down for the most part. And the first movement is that of the mouth, and the tongue, suckling to receive nourishment. And the second movement, perhaps, is when they begin to move their hands. At the beginning, the hands are like fists, baby hands, and then they begin to open. And at some point, this baby may bring the hand to the mouth. Yeah, maybe suck a thumb, right? And then at some point soon after, the baby will look at the hand and see the hand moving. And that is how it triggers this whole discovery of the world through the mouth and the hands. So we could say that the hands, especially the thumbs, have the largest representation in the brain compared to other body parts. More than the feet, more than the ears, more than the back, right? Because we use them so much to learn the world from the very beginning of our life. So that's why we have so much sensory receptors on the hands, and this sense of touch is very heightened on the hands, and many more things. The fact that we can grab things with our thumb and index, that there's so much potential by using our hands. So we're going to use our hands to calm our nervous system. So again, find a comfortable place where you can sit or lie down, and now place your hands palm up. And begin by just closing your eyes and sensing in your mind's eye the shape of your hands. And you probably know your hands very well. So you don't need to look, you just see that you can sense them. Imagine the 5 fingers. Imagine the lines of your hands. Don't need to get them right, just an image. And now see these 5 fingers as if they were, say, petals of a flower or some sort of extensions from the center all the way radially out. You can imagine lines, or you can imagine petals or sun rays, whatever image comes to you, right? From the center of the hand, palms up, as if you had a little space there to hold something, and then the fingers. So you can relax your fingers, and as you breathe now, sense the shape of your hands, and very, very gently let the fingers come toward each other, and then away. As if this was a little flower and it was gently closing. You know, some flowers close at the end of the day and then they open their petals again in the sunlight the next day. So basically you're just bringing both the right and the left hand, the fingers together, and then opening again. And notice if one hand is a little stronger than the other and wants to go faster, and give both hands permission to move very slow, as if they're moving underwater or something. And the movement is so subtle, you don't even need to touch the fingertips together. They just come in the direction of one another and then move away. And I'm going to show you the movement in a little bit, but first I want you to please find it yourself, because this is what you did as a baby. You weren't copying anybody, you were experimenting. So your brain knows this, your brain likes this exploration. So let the hands come together, and now shift your attention from the fingertips coming together to the sense of expansion when the hands open again, and alternate between the sense of closing the palms slightly and then letting them open again. And maybe the next time you just sense the part of the palm in the middle that is getting a little rounder, and then opening again and having more space. And now let the movement go and just go to the hand that is moving the slowest, the one that has more patience. Maybe if you're right-handed, go to the left. And just do that hand a couple times. This is the hand that is not the overachiever. This is the hand that just goes easy, and maybe if you were to write with it, it would be a little clumsy, but be creative because it doesn't have all the conditioning that the other hand does. And very, very slowly now let these fingertips come together and apart. And now see that maybe you feel that it's easy for you now to visualize how the thumb is coming closer to the other fingers without necessarily needing to touch. As if you could see your fingertips without looking, with the eyes closed. And let it go and breathe and rest. You can do a couple rounds of breathing like we did at the beginning, breathing in. Remind yourself of the breathing pattern. 2 inhales, a long one and a short one at the top. Hold the breath and then let it out again, slowly. And now let the breath go back to the background. Your breathing is free now and easy without a pattern, and just pay attention that the right hand begins to move again. And the fingers come toward each other, as if you want to hold something but don't need to touch, and then apart. And let the movement be slow and small, even if it's just a hint. And they don't even come together, but your hand is now soothing your nervous system. It's a movement that is not familiar to you, so you may be paying more attention than usual, because this is not the typical movement of opposing thumb and finger, but it's the fingers coming together, as if you were perhaps holding a little bell or taking the shape of a flower, closing its petals at the end of the day. So now the next time you pause, just sense yourself scanning for extra tension. So sometimes when we reduce the effort and we're used to having tension somewhere, the tension gets trapped in our teeth or our bellies or our feet. So see if that's the case and relax your toes, let your belly be soft. Maybe create a little space between your teeth so you have a free jaw and your teeth are not tight. And now the next time we do the hand movement, I'm going to ask you to alternate. So as the right hand comes together, fingertips towards fingertips, the hands are resting, palms open, and then the right hand opens and the left hand closes. And it doesn't need to be perfect. We're just sensing the difference in one hand opens and then the other hand opens and this one closes, the fingertips coming together, the fingertips coming apart. And see that now your attention has something to do. Perhaps you're tracking. Maybe your eyes, even closed, are more interested in looking at one hand over the other. So just notice what happens to your attention when you give it something to do, just like training it. And if you feel comfortable, you can breathe at the same time in whichever way feels natural. Maybe you just notice the inhales and the exhales. Just free breathing, and you're paying attention to the breath and to your hands. And maybe you find yourself doing a little gentle movement with your head or your eyes following your hands. It's all perfect. Just let your nervous system be soothed, be calmed by this rocking like motion of the hands. And the hands are alternating. One is closing and the other one is opening, like flowers. Very, very gently and slowly. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just rhythmic and slow. Okay, and you begin to feel a little almost drowsiness, right? You begin to notice, oh, this is very, very calming. I could fall asleep to this. So I encourage you to practice this if you need, when you want to fall asleep and you can't. Especially if you direct the breathing as well, it's very, very effective. So now let it go and just sense and feel yourself again, your body. What can you tell about your body right now? You're not moving your hands anymore for now. Your breathing is free. Somebody fell asleep and just woke up. Perfect. I'll wake you up. I'll play some bells at the end. That's right. So this is how we begin to tone the nervous system down and reset it into parasympathetic state. So as you sense and feel, I'll give you a little bit of information, which is when we are in stress, when we are in action, in motion, and sometimes even survival mode, our sympathetic nervous system is on alert, and we are fighting, flying, hiding, responding, reacting to the input. Sometimes it's a large reaction, sometimes it's a small reaction, like holding our breath, but still is sympathetic, not because of sympathy, that's the technical name, is because it's a fight or flight part of our nervous system. And what we're doing right now, and maybe you hear my belly sounds or yours, is the other branch of the nervous system, which is called parasympathetic, which means resting, digesting, soothing, conservation of energy. So that is the part of our brain and our nervous system that we want to activate. Yes, those branches of the nervous system to calm ourselves. And this movement of the hands and the breathing have that capacity. So it will invite you to digest, to rest, conserve energy, to be calmer. Okay? So now we're going to do one more practice. But first, we're going to review both the first one and the second one, just so you begin to, again, learn this and do it on your own. So the first one was the breathing in 2 stages. Inhale, and then a little more, and then out slowly. Double inhale, a long one, a short one to complete to full lung capacity. All the way, fill the lungs as much as possible. Hold at the top just a little. And then exhale slowly and gently, letting your attention follow the movement of the breath. Yeah? And then in combination or by itself, the movement of the hands, like bells, like flowers, opening and closing either at the same time or one at a time. And I recommend the non-dominant first, because he's gonna have an easier time doing it not so perfectly, which is great for brain work. When we rewire our brain with these movements, we don't need to be perfect. Mistakes are great, because this is how the brain learns. So you can do one hand only, you can do both hands together, or you can alternate. As long as you're doing it slowly and your hands are resting somewhere, so maybe on your thighs or on the sides of your body if you're lying down, so there's no gravity affecting the hands at all, so your wrists are soft and it's just the fingertips. Okay? Great, so now we're gonna do another movement that is a little more subtle even than the hands, but again, because of what I explained earlier, very, very potent, very powerful for our nervous system reset, because again, it's very well represented in the brain. So we're gonna now, again, close our eyes, find a comfortable place for our hands, for our feet, relax the belly and let the breath be free again. And now create a little bit of space between your teeth. And let your tongue now push on the lower jaw a little bit, the tip of your tongue, as if you want to let your mouth open a little. And just notice that the subtle movement of your tongue can move your jaw down. The tip of the tongue pushing down your jaw. You can breathe, you don't need to hold your breath. And now see if you can move the tip of your tongue to the space, the furthest corner of your mouth, say to the right, for example. So you're moving your jaw just a little bit to the right. It's such a subtle movement. It's as if you want to touch the deepest molar that you can feel in your mouth with the tip of your tongue. Right? And it's okay if you don't get that one and you get the next one. It's perfect. Just look for that and see that your jaw is moving a little bit to the right. And now let your eyes follow. So your eyes are closed, but your eyes are very curious, as if you could see in the right lower corner of your mouth. And maybe there's a little movement of your head, that is fine. Maybe you feel your weight shifting, your spine turning, all normal. So don't fight it. Just let your jaw be free. If you need to, use your hands to give you a little space. If your jaw is habitually tight or you have TMJ, just allow your hands to support it. Lower a little, create space, and then let your tongue go to the furthest corner in the lower jaw to the right, as if you could tap that finger, that tooth, and let your eyes look inside the eyelids, so your eyes can be closed. Just that. And notice what happens when your eyes shift down like that. And you begin to feel a little bit wobbly, a little bit uneven, because everything is now turning to the right. Eyes and tongue control the spine. So slowly to the right. couple times and see if there's a little movement on your jaw, and then let it go and bring it back to the middle. Rest. Yeah, so if you have TMJ and your jaw is habitually tight, just let your fingers maybe move it down a little. So use your fingertips gently to let your jaw be softer, so you have space. Yeah, that's it. So the movement is very subtle, very small. And now as you breathe again, come back to neutral. Let yourself rest for a moment. You can practice the double inhale a couple times, exhaling slowly. And now letting your fingers be soft and your toes be soft. Let the tongue now come to the left lower corner of your mouth, as if you could spot the lowest, furthest tooth on the left side. And maybe your jaw will move a little bit to the left if there's enough space. And you let your eyes just dip down. So your eyes are almost as if you had eyes in the tip of your tongue. And your eyes are actually looking that way, looking down and left. And if you notice your head moves a little, it's perfectly fine. If your shoulders move, it's okay. So let basically your body follow your attention. And your attention is on the tip of your tongue, moving towards the left lower corner inside of your mouth, touching your teeth on the left side. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. And your eyes are also looking down and to the left. And the movement of the eyes may be a little jumpy, that's okay. But if you can make it slow and smooth, even better. Same as with the motion of our hands, right? This will work better if you can go slow than if you rush. And now let it go, come back to neutral, whatever neutral is. Sense yourself, breathe. Observe how is your body, if you're getting calmer. Maybe another round of breath. Inhale all the way through the nose, and then a little bit more. Hold it and exhale slowly, letting your body sink further down into the chair or the floor if you're lying down, or your bed. And now let's alternate the movement of the tongue and the eyes. So create a little space inside your mouth. Let the tongue be soft. Visualize the root of the tongue, where the tongue connects to the larynx all the way in your throat. Imagine it deep and wide, as if it was tap roots, roots of a tree, right? Deep, soft and wide inside of your throat. And now very slowly, as if you're playing with this movement, let the tip of your tongue go to the right, inside of your mouth, inside the lower jaw, and your eyes follow, and then to the left. Just like a rhythmic pendulum type of movement. Once to the right, the tongue and the eyes, and once to the left. Again, doesn't matter if it's perfect, doesn't need to be super controlled, but precise. We're going down and to the right, not up. And we're going down and to the left with the tip of the tongue inside the mouth, free, and your eyes. And even if the eyes are closed. And if you notice yourself clenching something, your belly, we're freeing the jaw, which is huge for the nervous system's reset and the rest state, the calming state that we seek. And maybe your attention, maybe the effort is hiding somewhere else, on your toes, your thighs, your belly. So all you do is notice and see that you can perhaps let it go. Maybe the tension is hiding in your mind and you're thinking too hard about this. So just take it a little less seriously. And you take the tongue again to the right and your eyes. And with the next breath to the left and your eyes. And let it go again and just notice this motion of the left and the right, how soothing it is. If you think about a mother putting a baby to sleep and this rocking, yeah? This left and right, this rocking is very, very calming. So we're learning how to soothe ourselves today. Breathe and sense and do nothing for a moment. Just imagine this gentle rocking. If you're lying down, you want to bend your knees, it's okay. If you're seated, find more comfort. And now finally we're going to put it together with the movement of our hands. So as your hands are open, palms up, let your breath be free. And now the next time that you breathe gently in and out, don't control the breath. Let your breath just happen. And let your tongue go to the right, the tip of the tongue to the lower right as your jaw opens. And your eyes go to the right and the right hand, fingers together. And then open the hand. And then as you close the fingers on the left hand, let your tongue and the eyes go to the left. And let the breath be free and just alternate the tongue and the eyes to the right. And the right hand moving, just like petals of a flower, opening and closing. And then the tongue goes to the left and the eyes go to the left as the left hand moves. And just see that this soothing movement can be so small. You don't even have to touch the fingers. You don't even have to touch the teeth, but just the tongue being free and your eyes being free. And now we're coordinating the eyes, the tongue, and the hands. So our brain is really engaged. Lots of power with this movement. Lots of real estate in the brain for the eyes, the teeth, the hands. Or you may feel your brain working. Yeah, so do less and breathe. Good. And one more time to the right, the hands, the teeth, the mouth, the eyes. And to the left. And slowly, if you want to, you can slow it down even more. Until it's just a hint. A movement so subtle that you could do it with your eyes open. You could do it in the middle of a work session or if you're out and about and you need to calm yourself down. But definitely in the fullest expression, you can do it by yourself. But just the subtle movements, right, of the hands, the tongue inside of your mouth, making sure that you're creating that freedom on the jaw is very, very soothing, very, very calming. And you can do it anytime you want. So now let it all stop. And just one last time, just take it in. Just check in with yourself. How is your body? Anything new? What can you sense? How is your mind? Any thoughts? Or maybe space? And how is your state of emotions right now? Your feelings? Your sense of peace? And one more time, breathe in A little more. Hold it and breathe out. And with this last intentional exhale, I acknowledge your attention and I thank you so much for being present and staying with me with these very little movements that are very, very powerful, but not so easy to do because they're very subtle. So unless you have any further questions or comments, I'm very respectful of our time, so I don't want to be too late. Thank you so much for your presence, for your comments, your donations, your support. Thank you for sharing the practice with people that you know may benefit from it. And let's have a beautiful weekend together, okay? Let's stay connected through the field. Know that as you practice these movements again, you can call me in. This has worked with clients before where somebody was practicing something that I shared and they said to me, I felt as if your hand was on my back, or I felt as if your voice, I could hear you, right? So use that energy, it works. How do I suggest we breathe while getting used to the movements? So at the very beginning, just breathe in and out freely. So notice if you're holding the breath, which is the reaction when you're learning something new sometimes, that is the sympathetic nervous system hijacking, right, the breath. So let the breath be free. That is the number one practice. Once you are more familiar with the movements and you feel like that is more like automatic now, so you're doing it but not thinking too hard about the movement, you can introduce the long exhale, right? So just lengthening the exhale, especially twice, as long as the inhale is the most calming. And the next step would be to do the double inhale. So you inhale like we did today, all the way, and then a little bit more. That is very effective, but it takes thinking, right? So first of all, you want to just breathe in and out freely, and then lengthen the exhale, and then make it more complex. So just think about it as if you're learning anything new. You want to start with baby steps and get those settled before you add more. Okay? Great question. Yeah. All right, my dear ones. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next week. Have a lovely weekend. Stay present. Yep, you can do the second little breath with an open mouth. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep, as if you're taking just a little bit more. Totally fine and sometimes even easier. Yeah, follow the path of ease. You think of you as if you were water, because we are lots of water in our bodies, and the water will always look for the path of least resistance first. If you go and observe a creek or a river, yeah, water will just flow where there's least resistance. So that's another beautiful way to calm ourselves and soothe ourselves, is asking ourselves, what is easier now? What is easier now? Yeah, and so then we can do harder things anytime. I have lots of challenging breathing practices and challenging breathing sequences and movement sequences on my profile, but right now, because of the purpose of this practice is to calm ourselves and to soothe ourselves and to reset the nervous system, we want to go easy first. Yeah, we want to be patient and compassionate, just as if you were caring for somebody very, very dear, like a newborn or a friend or somebody we love a lot. And that could be ourselves right now. Okay? Thank you so much again. Love you all, and I'll see you next week, okay? Until then, be well. Bye-bye.